If you're over 60 and you take fish oil to protect your memory, I need 90 seconds of your attention. Because a brand new study from one of America's leading medical schools just tested that exact belief. And what they found surprised even the researchers running the trial. They didn't just check whether fish oil helped. They went further. They actually measured whether the omega-3 from those capsules was reaching the brain at all. It was. The omega-3 got into the brain. The levels went up exactly like they were supposed to. And the memory? The thinking? The size of the brain's memory center? Nothing changed. For decades, fish oil was sold as the simplest insurance policy you could buy for your brain. One capsule a day, and you'd hold the line against forgetfulness, confusion, even Alzheimer's. And honestly, the logic made perfect sense. Here's why. Up to 60% of your brain is made of fat, and about a third of that fat is omega-3, the very nutrient inside a fish oil capsule. So the reasoning seemed airtight. Your brain is built from omega-3, so feed it more omega-3 and you protect it. It's a beautiful idea. It's easy to believe. And that's exactly why millions of people over 60 take fish oil every morning, not for their heart, but for their mind. But here's the uncomfortable truth science kept running into. Most of that early evidence came from observational studies, research that simply noticed people who ate more fish tended to have healthier brains. And noticing a pattern is not the same as proving a cause. Maybe it wasn't the fish at all. Maybe those people were also exercising more, sleeping better, living with less stress. To know for sure, you need the gold standard. And that's exactly what these researchers finally did. The study came out of Keck Medicine of USC, led by Dr. Yassine, who directs their Center for Personalized Brain Health. The results were published this June in a respected peer-reviewed medical journal called eBioMedicine. And this wasn't a small or sloppy piece of work. It was a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled clinical trial. That phrase matters, so let me translate it. It means 365 older adults, all between 55 and 80, were split into two groups. One group got a high dose of omega-3 every day. The other got a placebo, a look-alike capsule with no omega-3 in it at all. And here's the key. Nobody knew who got which. Not the patients, not even the doctors. That's how you remove wishful thinking and get the truth. Now, who were these people? Every single one started with extremely low omega-3 levels, meaning they were the people who should benefit most. On top of that, each had at least one risk factor for dementia: high blood pressure, high cholesterol, obesity, or a sedentary lifestyle. And nearly half carried a gene called ApoE4, the single biggest genetic risk factor for Alzheimer's. If fish oil was ever going to prove itself, it would be here, in exactly these people. They took 2,000 milligrams of DHA, a serious dose, every day for 24 months, 2 full years. And throughout, the researchers ran MRI brain scans, blood tests, and memory tests over and over. Then they did something most fish oil studies never bothered to do. They measured whether the omega-3 actually made it into the brain. And it did. In the people taking the supplement, omega-3 levels in their red blood cells more than doubled, climbing from around 5% up to 11%. And in the fluid surrounding the brain itself, omega-3 levels rose by 17%. The capsule worked in the sense that the nutrient went exactly where it was supposed to go. It crossed into the brain. So the memory must have improved, right? The thinking must have gotten sharper? No. There was no improvement in memory, no improvement in thinking, and no protection for the hippocampus, the brain's memory center, which showed no difference at all between the two groups. This is the part that stops you cold. The omega-3 did reach the brain, and the brain simply did not respond. As Dr. Yassine put it, omega-3 supplements used as a blunt instrument do not work. For a person who isn't exercising, who's eating processed food, who's carrying extra weight and chronic stress, adding fish oil is like adding a single drop to an ocean of problems. It simply isn't enough to move the needle. Now, before you throw out your fish oil, hear this part very carefully, because this is where people get it wrong. This does not mean omega-3 is bad for you. It does not mean fish is bad for you. The very same researchers are clear. Omega-3 remains critical for brain health. The problem isn't the nutrient. The problem is the pill. The idea that you can swallow one capsule and undo an unhealthy lifestyle. Here's the fascinating contradiction. In places like the Mediterranean, high omega-3 levels are one of the strongest predictors of a sharp mind in old age. So how can omega-3 help there, but not in this study? The answer is everything around the omega-3. People in the Mediterranean aren't popping supplements. They're eating fresh, fatty fish. They're walking, they're meeting friends, they're sleeping well. In that setting, omega-3 shines because it's one piece of a healthy whole. But drop that same omega-3 into a body that's stressed, sedentary, and living on fast food, and it can't do the job alone. There's also one group this may still help, and I won't hide it from you. For people who carry that APOE4 gene, who have low omega-3 but are otherwise healthy, experts still recommend eating fatty fish twice a week and using a quality supplement. The lesson isn't omega-3 is useless. The lesson is a pill cannot rescue an unhealthy life. So, if the capsule isn't the magic bullet, what actually protects your brain after 60? The good news is the answer is real. It's proven, and most of it is free. First, movement. Exercise is the single most powerful, best proven thing you can do for your aging brain. It doesn't have to be a gym. A brisk daily walk increases blood flow to the brain and has been linked again and again to slower memory decline. Second, sleep. Deep, quality sleep is when your brain physically clears out the waste proteins linked to Alzheimer's. Protecting your sleep is protecting your memory. Third, your diet as a whole, not as a pill. A plant-rich, Mediterranean-style way of eating, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish like salmon and sardines twice a week. When you eat the whole fish, you get the entire package. A capsule can never replicate. Fourth, and people always underestimate this one, connection. Staying socially engaged, talking with friends, staying mentally active. Loneliness and isolation are genuine risk factors for cognitive decline. Your relationships are brain medicine. And fifth, manage the basics. Keep your blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol in healthy ranges with your doctor's help. These quiet numbers do more for your brain over time than any supplement on the shelf. Notice the pattern. Not one of these is a pill. Every single one is a habit, and together they are far more powerful than anything you can buy in a bottle. So let's come back to where we started. If you've been taking fish oil for years, hoping it was guarding your memory, you are not foolish. You believed what millions of people, and even many doctors believed. The science simply caught up, and it's telling us something more honest, and in a way, more hopeful. Because here's the hopeful part. If a single pill held all the power, then those without it would be out of luck. But that's not the world this study reveals. The real power was never in the capsule. It was in you, in how you move, how you sleep, how you eat, and who you spend your days with. That power has been within your reach the entire time. One important reminder before you go: if you take fish oil for your heart, for triglycerides, or under a doctor's guidance, that is a completely different conversation, and you should not stop without talking to your physician. This study was about memory and the brain, not your heart. Always speak with your own doctor before making any change. If this helped you see your health a little more clearly, do one thing for me: subscribe, so the next person who needs to hear the truth can find it too. And tell me in the comments, have you been taking fish oil for your memory? I read every reply. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.